king of this and you're the king of that. You're the king of dog shit.
Hitting some good shots on Tom here.
He's landing some big shots.
Best in the game. Best in the game. Woo! Look at
You think you can beat me in a boxing match, do you?
He's covering up.
Oh my God!
That's bullshit.
Dart choke set up from Devin Stanley.
They're like the Spartans in 300. Teddy Atlas here. It's the New Line Podcast with Keith No and Elijah Thacker.
Oh, we on? We are on.
We're back. We're officially back.
The
Well,
New Line Podcast.
we know you've all missed us. We've been away for a while, but here we are, just jumping back into your life like an old boyfriend. That's us, me and Keith. We're your old toxic relationship. And we missed you. You're looking good lately.
You may not have missed us, but we're back in your life.
So, what have you been up to, Keith? We've had Christmas. We've had the New Line holiday break. How was your Christmas?
It's good, man. It was nice not having fights for a few weeks. We've been having something every 3 or 4 weeks, so that was exhausting. But it was fun, but it was exhausting.
I know coming up to that last card in December, you were pretty worn out. So
Yeah.
I'd say it's nice to having some time off.
Yeah, I told everybody that through the time off, I was going to be working on stuff. I'm going to update the website. I'm going to get ahead on matchmaking. I'm going to get better at Photoshop. I'm going to do all these videos. And I've been playing
Age of Empires.
I've been playing Age of Empires since since mid-December. Missed that game, man. Tell you what, if I wasn't promoting MMA, I would be playing a lot of Age of Empires. I would probably be good on there if I wasn't promoting MMA. I'm still a noob. I've been playing the game since like '96. I'm a noob.
So you got to tell me, like, I never got into Age of Empires. What's it like? Was it similar, like Civilization, Revolution sort of thing?
Well, Civilization is turn-based. Age is just like real time. So you're just constantly going. Yeah. I just played a wild game before we did this. My strategy, I don't know. I don't know. I just play chaotic on there, and I make the game ugly. And it's fun for me, but it's really annoying to people I play with. Doesn't always work.
So it's just like you are in life, really. It reflects your play style.
Yeah. Yeah, I play different. I definitely I don't play the way, like, I don't play the normal way, I guess. Play kind of crazy. Sometimes I beat people that are better than me because of it.
So tell me, getting off the Age of Empires talk before everybody, like, we better turn this podcast off right now. Have you missed it? You missing it yet? Are you missing the fights?
I'm getting there, man. We were talking earlier about some of this, and when we started New Line back in 2019, it was all about having fun and just enjoying the moment. And eventually, man, it got to a point where it was like, I guess it was business, and it wasn't fun anymore. And I'm focusing on the end goal. Like, I want to be here, and that's what I was focused on. And it was frustrating. It felt like work all the time. But I'm going to try to just get back to where it's just fun, man. Just you gotta embrace the grind, embrace. Like, you just gotta push, and you gotta enjoy the grind. You enjoy pushing. So I'm going to start really just focusing on that, and not the end result. And honestly, man, I mean, that's something fighters should do too. And I could give you examples, like guys that are fighting in UFC, or guys that are playing football in the NFL, guys that are playing baseball in the major leagues. They probably weren't, as kids, they weren't always just, I want to play in the NFL. I want to play in the majors. They were probably the kids who enjoyed practice, like the kids who loved playing the game, who loved getting better. If you get beat, fighters, if you get in there, you get beat, you fight somebody with a better ground game than you. Like, you should be focused on like improving your ground, man. Like, and you should enjoy it. If this is something you want to do with your life, you should be really enjoying that. Like, loving it. Like, you want to be in the gym training, you want to be getting better. I don't know.
I think that's life too, though.
Yeah.
If you're doing anything that you're not getting paid for, that you're doing out of labor of love, something you care about, you have to love it. Like, if you why are you doing this? Like, you're not making boatloads of cash right now, despite what people think. This promotion, like, you just keep hammering. You just keep trying to grow, trying to get there to that next level, but it's tough. And like, if you don't love it, why the hell are you putting in all that work?
I love it, man. I love it. I just gotta let it show a little more.
Well, I think you got to wake up to some of those things. Like, you started it because you love it.
Yeah.
Get back to loving it. And I think just a few months off, I know I miss it already. I'm ready for the next card, and we've got a damn good one coming up.
Yeah, we do. And it does feel weird that we haven't had a fight. And it's only been a little over a month. And it feels weird. It's been, 5 or 6 weeks? About 6 weeks since we had an event, and it feels weird. It feels like
we've gotten spoiled.
Like
And Matt, look where you started. You were having maybe two
like 3 a year. Yeah,
2 or 3 a year. Now we're having one every other month at least, almost every month. And like,
we had them August, September, October, November, December. We had all of them. It's kind of crazy.
And I think before we talk about the next fights, I think we should talk a little bit about some of those cards, because we've not really sat down and talked about them on the air, because we've had some absolute bangers. Like, first one that comes to mind to me is Billy Poe versus Stronghold. I think that's one of the best pro fights that we've ever had at New Line. It was an absolute war.
Yeah.
Stronghold looked amazing in those first 2 rounds. Like, I don't know how Billy Poe was standing. And then he comes back in that incredible comeback to get the draw. It dropped my jaw. It really did.
Yeah. That was definitely one of the best fights of the year. And speaking of that, we've got our yearly awards we've been working on and just haven't really announced anything yet. But
that fight was right up there with Cameron Sweat out for me.
Cameron's my boy, man.
I looked over.
One of these days, we're gonna have y'all box. We're gonna have y'all box one of these days.
I'm gonna release the footage.
We'll have y'all do some amateur boxing, pro boxing, whatever.
I would take that as my return fight. One day, Cameron Sweat. You hear me? Here we are. Let's do it someday. Maybe 2 years from now. Maybe 3. Maybe 10. Whenever I'm ready.
I don't know if he'll ever be ready either.
Speaking of that, honestly, dude, that I was supposed to fight, that we were in talks about fighting Preston Dyer. Look at getting ready to fight on this next card, and that dude has lost a shitload of weight. He looks fantastic, and I can tell, like, he's been cornering a lot of guys. I've been paying attention to him. I think he really knows his stuff. I'm excited to finally see him compete.
Yeah, he does. He used to come around a lot of the fights, man, just to support his friends. And then I think it was, I'm trying to remember if it was at NLC 4 in 2020 or if it was NLC 5 in 2021 when he told me that he was gonna do it himself. Might have been 2020. I mean, I believe he was there at the event in Logan. Yeah. He I think he got in it just to support his friends, and then he wanted to try it. But
I really respect.
Yeah, he's been training.
He was down to fight me. Like he I think I pissed him off when I cornered Michael Watts against Honecker, and he called me out. And I didn't realize he wanted to kickbox. I was like, "Screw you, man! Let's do MMA." And he did it. Dude's a white belt.
Yeah.
He was ready to go. Like, it was me that was like, I can't do it right now. I got too much going on. So, like, Preston, you bitched me out. The only man to ever do that. and I'm proud of you for it. I've grown to respect that guy, though, seeing him at the cards. See, I like all the Ronin guys. I like Ryan Carroll. I was real happy to see Ryan get that win. That's something we ought to talk about.
Yeah, Ryan Carroll. It was his pro MMA debut. He's been doing pro boxing and bare knuckle, but I mean, Ryan's a jiu-jitsu black belt. I don't know why he's not been doing pro MMA, but it was good to have him. I think Ryan likes to compete in about every aspect of the sport, but it was nice to see him really doing something in his wheelhouse there. Yeah, getting such a dominant win. We thought he was going to ride off into the sunset. We thought this is Ryan's retirement fight. There was talks about that, so it's kind of what we set it up. But I don't know if he is. I think Ryan might still want to do it. Ryan's in good shape, man. Ryan. I don't think Ryan's ready to hang it up. He's not bad for an old man. He's in pretty good shape. I'll tell him that. Yeah, he's like a little older than me. A little bit older than me, not that much. I thought you were going to say he's like a little old man. Little old man. He's a little older than I am. I think Ryan's 56 and I'm 55, right? And that dude's been around forever. You know, he's one of those, like you talk about West Virginia MMA and stuff. Ryan's one of the names. Like he's one of the familiar faces. He's been around. He's been around competing for a while. Just a good dude, real support. Yeah, we need to have a few podcasts that are specific to those old events. But right now, they were the last few months. Yeah, they're all on YouTube now. So everybody, if you didn't see the last few events, if you didn't get to come, and didn't get to order the pay-per-view, now's the time to watch them because there were some incredible fights. Oh yeah. So this card coming up right now, we officially have 14 fights on the card. We haven't started matching the jiu-jitsu yet. We're probably, what are we, about 6 weeks out? It's going to be March 9th. Let me see how many weeks away we are. 1, 2, 3, 7 weeks. Okay. Yep, 7 weeks away. Let's dive right into the main event. Why not? Jeremy Carson, Rich Wine. Yeah, so this was a fight that we had set up for last August, and Karshner tore his shoulder up leading up to the event, and then we weren't able to make it happen. I think it happened so close to the fight that we didn't have anything for Rich Wine, and he was a little upset about it. But we did get him a fight right after that, right? Wasn't it like 2 months later? Yeah, we got him on NLC 19 in Huntington with Tim Dunn. Oh yeah, I'm crazy. Yeah, Tim Dunn. So. He fought Davis before this. He fought Davis, I think, in May at Bridgeport. Yep, and then Tim. Yep. Yeah, he won that. Rich Wine won that title against Davis. Was supposed to fight Karshner, and then Karshner got injured, so he ended up fighting Dunn, and that was a war. That's the fight. That's another one right up there with Billy Poe and Stronghold that you need to watch it. Yeah, both of those fights went to a draw, and. Let's see. And then our co-main event right now, we have Stephen McBride versus Matt Garrettson. Both of these guys have been around the West Virginia fight scene for quite some time. McBride was very active, I believe, around like 2015 and 16. He had his eyes on Garrettson then, but that was around the time that Garrettson went pro. So McBride, I believe, was 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, something like that, amateur MMA. Garrettson had a really good amateur MMA record too. Then he went pro. So McBride's wanted that fight, and then they both kind of got out of it for a while. But they're back. They're both back. They're active, and fight's going to happen, man. It's funny. It's a fight like you see that on the card, and you think you went back in time like 10 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a fight that they wanted. Garrettson's been around forever. He's a dude I've trained with, and he hits like a fucking truck. Yeah. His left hand is a sledgehammer. That's what you got to watch out for with him, that overhand left, and I think everybody knows it. But the dude's well-rounded. He knows his shit. So does McBride. I really liked seeing McBride coming back after that long hiatus, and he fought such a tough guy in Billy Poe, and he held his own. I know he rocked Billy at one point. I could see it in that fight. Yeah. Late in the first round, yep.
That's such an interesting fight. And
So Steven's been away from Steven hadn't been training with his old group. He'd been kind of doing his own thing in Huntington when he was living there. But right after he fought, like literally right after he fought Billy, he moved back to Beckley. He got back with his old MMA coach, Eugene Blankenship, who coached him through that wild amateur career where he was like 8-1. So he's back with those guys. He's probably lost 20 pounds since that fight. Said he's feeling great. And I mean, he I guess he didn't know how he was out of shape going into that fight in October, but like he's going to be a new man.
I think it was one of those things. He's like, I want to see if I can still do this. And it turned out good. And he looked good in that fight despite being out of shape. So he's like, let's see what I can do if I put in a good camp. See what I can do if I work for it a little bit. And I'm excited to see him and Garrettson. Garrettson's always in the gym. Like, I don't know if he's training with anybody right now. But he's always working out, always trying to stay in shape. And he's hungry. Garrettson's been looking for a win for a while. He's been looking for a good fight, and I think this is a good one for him.
Yeah, Garrettson's in the best shape he's been in a while. He's probably down 40 pounds since the last time he fought for us. So maybe the first time he fought, there was no way he was going to get to 265. But he's walking around that weight now, so he's good. And he's been doing a lot of powerlifting. He's really explosive, so that's one thing he's got. He's getting that explosiveness back. And that's one thing he had when he was in his early pro boxing days, man. Like when Garrettson made it out to Vegas fighting on those Mayweather cards, like one thing that got him there was he was very explosive. He wasn't always the best boxer, but if he landed that left overhand or the left hook, like it was lights out. And for a guy his size, he's got some quick hands, and he's got the power behind it too. He's got that pop and he's got that power.
I think the powerlifting might be a big thing, the explosiveness, trying to regain that. Because one thing I noticed training with him, I believe he's slowed down. Since he weight, since that, like his hand speed's definitely, it's not that. That's the only way I was able to stop him from knocking me out, because he was damn sure trying.
I think after that big hiatus, and then he got back to fighting for a short period of time, he realized that his explosiveness was gone, and so that's probably been a big focus. And he's not old. Garrettson's not my age. Garrettson's probably early 30s, so he's not an old guy.
But in this sport, it's not the age, it's the mileage. And Garrett's been around a long time. He's been training a long time.
Yeah,
but on this card, looking at the rest of this card, you got two things that pop out in my mind. You got two big rematches on this card. You got Preston Starr fighting Chance Grilla. That's one that's very interesting, because when the first fight happened, Preston was just getting started. He was super green, barely done anything.
He had no jiu-jitsu.
And now Preston's training like a madman. He really wants that back. I think it's a very meaningful fight for Starcher. And Grillett is the veteran. He's the guy who's here to say, you might be training, but not enough. Yeah. That's a good.
I think they came into that fight and Grillett was maybe 1-1. And then Preston was a debut. And now Preston's got 5 fights. Grillett's got 7 fights. I mean, they've both been active. And this fight is in a lower weight class, too.
And Grillett's coming off that loss. Grillett's coming off a fight where he lost the title.
Yeah, he lost the title, for the vacant title fight,
Yeah, and that was a fight everybody expected him to win it, I think. A lot of people were expecting him to be the favorite, and it didn't go his way. I think this is a fight where he's got to say, I've still got it. I'm still a dominant force in this division, so I'm really excited to see what he can do here.
Yeah. Then the other rematch. Yeah, well. Go ahead.
The other rematch is
St. Bry.
That's
St.
it.
Bry and Joe Thompson. Dad Bod Thompson.
One of the better nicknames in New Line. You got two of the best nickname guys on here. You got Dad Bod and you got Fat Thor, both on this card. Yeah. But Joe Thompson,
there's some other nicknames I'm forgetting about on this fight card.
That's a tough fight. That's a tough fight for old Joe Thompson. You're coming off the first one, which was a brutal knockout, like brutal. But
No, Zane. They went to a decision. He got dropped. Yeah, he got dropped late in the fourth, but yeah, it went to a decision.
Well, damn, if he got it, like I remember how brutal
he got up.
Down was for him to get up. It shows what he's made of. That's one thing about Joe. I've gotten to see almost every one of his fights. I think I've maybe called every one of his pro fights, and the dude's got no shortage of toughness.
Yeah.
He's not technical, and I think he's working on it because I've got him on Facebook now. I've been noticing he's training there at Figure 4, trying to get rounds in, trying to learn how to actually box. It's weird he's jumped into the deep end of the pool there at pro.
Yeah, he looked good in his last fight against Hamza, and
he's a massive underdog there. Like anytime you see one of Brian Gedeon's guys on the card, you know they're going to be a legitimately good boxer, talented, technical. And I thought it was going to be a lot uglier than it was, and he made that a fight.
Yeah.
Joe hits hard too. And he was rocking Zane in that first fight, and Zane hung tough and landed some beautiful shots, got the win. But we'll see what happens in this rematch.
And that fight was Zane's first win. That was Zane's only win. But Zane has came a long way also, and from the first time we saw him up until now, he's not the same fighter.
I feel like Zane Fry's a dude who's had a lot of tough breaks in his boxing career, but he's a guy who, I say this about him a lot, I really admire his attitude and his work ethic, because he bounces back every time and seems to just learn and grow from it. Like that's what it takes to actually be good at something. You just keep doing it. You keep failing until eventually you succeed. And he finally did there against Joe. Yeah. Looked phenomenal in that fight. He really did. His head movement, that's something I'm sure he's been working on. I'm sure that watching his footage, he grows from it. Like watching that fight with Joe, I know there's things that he needs to tighten up, and I'm sure he saw it too. So we're going to see a new Zane Fry in that fight.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I think Zane's got a fight this week as well. So he's coming into it. People think he's the underdog, but I see that fight easily going Zane's way. So I'm not talking about the fight with Joe. I'm talking about the fight Zane's got this week in West Virginia. Anyway. Our another pro fight we have on this card. Two familiar fights. Well, one may not be familiar. He fought for New Line several times back before COVID. We haven't seen him since. So we got Skylar the Phoenix Mauler fighting pro for it's going to be his second pro fight, coming in 1-0 against Andre Williams. Andre fought on nearly all of our events before COVID.
I remember you talking about Andre. I think, did he fight on your first card?
No, I think his first time was our second card, second or third. Don't remember.
So he's been away.
I think it was our time. I think he fought NLC 2 and 4, or it was either 3 and 4.
Give us the scoop on this guy, because I don't remember him. He's somebody he's going to be being new to probably a lot.
Yeah, 6'3", athletic. He's from Virginia. Probably he's a multiple-time Rough and Rowdy tournament champion. With a kickboxing champion, MMA champion. He fought a lot of tough fights, so he fought a lot of fights he probably shouldn't have taken. So he had a lot of losses as an amateur, but he also had some, a lot of good wins. So he's dangerous. More of a kickboxer. He's a guy had some disqualifications for throwing some elbows in amateur fights. Now in a pro fight, he can legally throw those elbows. So he looked for him to be coming in with the knees and elbows, and Skylar coming in 5'9", like a freaking tank. It's interesting, man. I mean, these guys like have nothing in common other than they can put your lights out. Skylar's coming in with power. Andre's coming in with speed and technique.
We saw something from Skylar that we've never seen before in that last fight. Yeah, the ground game.
Yeah,
and tell you what, I wouldn't want that guy squeezing my neck.
No.
Jesus Christ, he's a bear.
Yeah.
So if he can learn to grapple, if he can dedicate himself to jiu-jitsu, I feel like Skylar Mauler is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Skylar, as an amateur, I don't think he ever trained like at all, other than lifting weights and doing things in his house. But that was one thing he decided he wanted to go pro. But he was also, if he's going to go pro, he's going to join a gym, and he did. And he's probably lives 45 minutes away from VO2 Fitness and drives over there a few days a week and does jiu-jitsu with them. And he's been competing in tournaments too. He's been doing some Fuji and some AGF, I think it is, some Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments and getting some medals. So
that's going to be huge. It really is. I think it'll go a long way because how did we ever see Skylar Muller lose?
Usually on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was doing MMA, he would get taken down and get some.
Other than he did fight Zach Craddock and got caught. That was a fight. He was up on the scorecards and got blasted with like 10 seconds left on the clock.
That was a war. That fight was absolute war. That's one of the biggest wars I think we've ever had at New Line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Zach came out of it with his hands raised, and he looked like he got jumped. So
that's a dude I miss seeing fight too, Zach Craddock. I think he's hung up the gloves for now, but Zach, if you're out there, come back. We miss you.
Come back, Zach. Zach's still toward the top of our fighters, with the most wins in NLC history, and he's not been here lately. And he's up there.
Ending fights, even when that fight with Sean Cofield, like he was game the entire. That was a fight. He was outmatched. He'd fought a guy with 14 fights, and he'd only had 4 or 5 at the time,
something like that. Yeah, Cofield was 13-1. Yeah.
It just goes to how game he is.
Yep. We got another fight here. Moving on down the card. And this is a guy Sam Kinker, man, one of my favorite fighters.
I love Sam Kinker. I love watching him.
I was wondering if he was still fighting or not. I reached out to him, and Sam's like, "Yeah, I've just been waiting on you to get a hold of me." I'm like, "Well, shoot, I've been waiting on you to get a hold of me." So Sam's back. So now I know Sam wants to fight. So we're going to try to get Sam on every card. But
why does Sam not do MMA? That's my question, because I know he's got grappling experience.
So this is an MMA fight. We got Sam fighting MMA against Anthony Hochback. I believe so. It's jiu-jitsu against wrestling. And both guys have 7 amateur fights. I believe Anthony's wanting to go pro after this one. He was wanting to get a title fight. I wasn't able to work that one out for this one. Both guys have 7 fights. Should be a good one, man. Anthony's a good wrestler. I believe he's at the Mat Factory.
That's pretty damn good matchup. Both guys been around a while. Kinker's been around forever. Like really, that footage of him landing a twister, that looks like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. I think that was the same camera they used for the Bigfoot footage.
I'll tell you this. If Samuel Kinker lands a twister in this fight, I'll lose my mind. I will. I'll throw a fit. I'll probably knock off the whole pay-per-view like I did with Devin Stanley. But it's going to be
This will be a really tough guy to pull off a twister on. I'll tell you that.
If you believe hard enough, all things are possible.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Anthony's a good fighter, and Anthony's a good fighter, good gym. I believe he's in the Pittsburgh area. He's got all the right things around him, man. So he's set up to go far.
We've seen a lot of really talented guys coming from Pennsylvania. Lucas being one of them. Lucas Siebert, my God, I think he may have been the most impressive prospect we saw last year.
Yeah. There's another guy. He's actually originally from West Virginia, but he's training out there now, Luke Martin. And he may be on one of our cards coming up. Luke's a former national champion college wrestler. And he's 1-0 amateur MMA. And we had Luke on this one, but he ended up getting another fight around the same time out that way. So he was going to be fighting Sheldon Starcher, so we're now trying to find Sheldon another matchup, which we may have it, just waiting to hear back from the other guy. Let's see. I'm moving down to the next fight. Okay. Oh, yeah. This is a high-level karate fight here. So, it's MMA. We got an MMA guy with two high-level karate fighters. So we got Eric Kuhn, who was on the U.S. 2020 Olympic team for karate, which I believe that's the only year the Olympics ever had karate, as far as I know, against Michael McClendon from Louisville. Or is it Louisville? I may be wrong. Sorry. But Michael is also a very high-level karate guy. And they both come from like different styles of karate. They both say their style of karate is better. It's kind of giving me like the old school UFC feel, like, no, my style's better. No, my style's better. Let's find out.
We're having
Kumite, baby. And Kuhn did fight for Karate Combat. Michael McClendon's trying to make it to Karate Combat. One of his coaches is the Karate Combat middleweight champion. So, these guys, I don't know. This fight's going to be awesome, man.
And you really being a former karate guy yourself, I'd say you're all excited.
Yeah.
You still know the moves? You still know your katas?
Whoa!
You slice the watermelon, and you give him a slice, and you give him a slice.
Yeah, I never got my belts in karate because I refused to do katas. So I just wanted to fight, and then so they wouldn't rank me up. I didn't want to keep paying my $20 or $30 a month and be a yellow belt. So I quit.
But you listen here, Eric Kuhn. If he would have done katas, he would have been on the Olympic team. They would have brought the Olympics back. They would have brought karate to the Olympics years before.
They would have had karate in the Olympics back in the 70s, man.
Keith could have been the best of all time. I think Keith could have been the best karateka to ever live.
That's right. Whatever that is.
That's the word for it. Karateka.
Karateka?
Karateka masala.
Hell yeah.
Makes me
down. All right, moving down to the next fight. We got William Honecker, also known as Honecker.
Hey, from where I'm from, it's Honecker. William Honecker is fighting Fat Thor, Dakota Bagley. This is stylistically, I really enjoy the idea of these two scrapping.
Yeah. Need to fix Honecker's record on here. All right, there we go.
They're both just getting started. Honecker, he fought Michael Watts, jumped right in that fight with Watts in kickboxing. And I think originally that was supposed to be an MMA fight.
It was. And then Watts didn't get his medicals in time. And so we had to switch it like the day before the event.
And I'll fight the champ. Why not? In his sport. And that took a lot of balls, I think, from Honecker. I'm excited to see him back, too. Supposed to fight Ricardo Rodriguez at one point. But then Ricardo Rodriguez was insane.
Ricardo went so crazy on the pre-fight interview that he had to pull out of the fight from embarrassment. That was literally why he pulled out of the fight, because he went way too crazy on the pre-fight interview. That was.
He blew his wad.
Poor guy.
That was my fault. I take full responsibility for the downfall of Rodriguez.
You got mad and called him out on something that it just went crazy. It was crazy before that.
I don't know why I was so mad at him.
You were offended. You were offended that he was being I don't know.
Looking back, so dumb. It's so silly to me. I was mad.
The whole time I was like, "Why? What's wrong with this guy? And why is Elijah so mad?"
But William
Honecker's over here just like Honecker's over here. His interview got hijacked. He didn't know what's going on.
I think it's time for the public apology section of the podcast. We always do that. I'm going to publicly apologize to William Honecker for hijacking his interview. But anyway, that fight, due to me, probably my fault. But here we are. We see him back again. And he's one of the cooler guys that we've met in this sport. I like William. And I like Dakota Begley. They're both cool guys. Both hit hard, big dudes. That's a fun heavyweight fight for two guys like starting out in the game.
To the next fight. So this is a guy that we haven't seen since 2021. Shane McGrew. Shane fought at NLC 5 and 6. He had a completely dominant performance at 5 in a boxing match over Chris Washington, and then he fought Logan Shuck at NLC 6 and injured his knee probably midway through the first round, and he was looking really good, but blew his knee out. He's the brother of Stephen McGrew, who recently passed away and was a fighter here.
It's got to be a hugely emotional comeback fight.
Yeah.
For, Shane. He's a guy who, his brother fought for us not long ago. His brother passed away absolutely tragically, shocked all of us, shocked his whole family. So I can't imagine what he's been going through. And I hope that, I know he's dealt with his own issues in life. So I think he's here, and it makes me happy to see him competing, him taking up the gauntlet, making a comeback too, just like Steven did. And I really think that, his brother would be proud of him, seeing him back in the cage.
Yes. I know Steven always wanted to get Shane back in there. That was something that we talked about it several times.
Steven's so passionate about the sport. Talking to guys lately who are close to him, like Eric Kuhn, he and the Starcher brothers, guys who were in the gym with him, talk about just what a magnetic personality that kid had. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love that kid, man. He is fighting Timmy Likens from Moorhead, who trains at Davis Karate. Davis, it's not just a karate dojo. They have jiu-jitsu there.
And we've seen some of their guys lately, and they look good. They look really good.
Billy Poe trains out of there. Billy's a professional MMA and boxer. And one reason Billy got into pro boxing was because I guess he just wasn't that comfortable on his feet. His ground game's really high level, but he just he wanted to get more comfortable fighting on the feet. So he's doing some pro boxing, just making a run at that. And he's doing a really good job of it too. But that goes to show. Billy's a grappler out of Davis Karate. So
Billy Poe has a chin that is bananas. It's absolutely unbelievable. I know that I couldn't have taken them shots from Brad Conley. Because you can hear,
Brandon.
You sit cage side. You sit cage side and hear the shots that Billy Poe took in that fight, and I don't know how the hell he made it through, and then comes back and almost gets the win.
Yeah, Brandon.
Billy Poe is tough. I'm stamping
overhand.
I want you to put it on the screen in like a graphic, and it's like a stamp that says "tough as nails" and a picture of Billy Poe. Tough as nails. I'm stamping. He's
Brandon. Brandon, I can't give any details on this, but we were working on a fight for Brandon on the next card, and we can't make it happen now. And it's not that he can't fight or anything. It's Brandon has a big opportunity coming up, and that's all I can say. Not with us.
He's running for president.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to make him look bad being a cage fighter,
That's right. That's right.
Conley 2024.
I'd vote. You got my vote, Brandon.
He's got my vote. I don't want him to hit me if I don't vote for him.
So Timmy Likens, this is a guy I don't really know anything about him. I've never met Timmy. I know he fought a week ago in Ashland, Kentucky, and picked up a win. And but fighting Shane McGrew. Shane's coming up. Shane's a flyweight. Shane's coming up to 135 to fight Timmy at his weight class.
Do you know anything about what Shane's doing as far as training now?
So Shane was at Category 5 in Hurricane, the jiu-jitsu place, and he told me that he is switching to go to Butch Hiles. So that's all I know. And I haven't talked to Butch, so I have not talked to Butch. I mean, I've talked to Butch, but I have forgot to mention Shane.
Well, I tell you what, we'll know exactly whether he's training because Butch will call you out on that shit.
He sure will. If you've not been to the gym, Butch will let us know.
Mid-fight. It's rough having Butch Hiles call on your fights if you train with Butch Hiles or say you train with Butch Hiles.
Yeah. Yeah, if he hasn't seen you, he'll let the world know.
It's like when your dad's the little league coach and he's harder on you than all the other kids.
It's exactly what it is. God, dog, I was hard on Gavin when he was playing.
Poor Devin Stanley, man.
Yeah.
At that fight, Brendan Kelly.
Devin's out here just dominating every fight he has, and Butch is like, he's not been in the gym.
Not training.
He's not training. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's
doing. Right. I was doing something right.
I think he is. I've never seen that kid in my life.
I think they're just there at different times or something. Devin's there. I think Devin
Here's what I think.
Works a lot of hours.
think Devin is afraid of Butch and he avoids him.
Well, I mean, can you blame him?
No. Not after that mess.
Yeah, you were afraid of Butch before you commentated with him, right?
I tell you what, I thought Butch was like a cyborg for a long time. To tell you the truth. It's only now that I'm starting to see cracks of humanity in that man, and he's not like, okay, he's human.
Yeah.
Now that I've started working with him. It's weird, though. It's weird working with the guy that you've looked up to for so long.
Yeah.
Butch has been around since I was a kid, so it's wild working with him, getting to call fights with him. That's one cool part of this last year. I guess this is like a sort of a last year recap podcast. That's one of my favorite things. We got Butch on the team.
Yeah, it's awesome having Butch around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've looked up to him forever. He's not really that much older than I am either, but yeah, always looked up to him. As long as there's been MMA, and I mean, there's only MMA in West Virginia because of Butch. So,
kind of owe everything to the fella.
Yeah.
But we don't want to get his head too big, so we've got to try to say something like shitty now. I can't think of anything. I'm scared of him too much.
His shoes are spiky.
So what else we got? Yeah, your shoes are too spiky, Butch.
Yeah, Butch. Take that in your face. We got Ben Yokers coming back for the second time. Fighting Sean Martin from Western Kentucky. I'm trying to think where he's from, man. Bowling Green?
Okay, so yeah, out there. That is way out west.
Is that like Tornado Alley or something?
It's like it's near Northern or Western Kentucky Universities where Bowling Green is.
Okay.
WKU's out there. Nice little spot. And there used to be pretty good gym down there. The coach was a guy named Fat Steve.
Fat Steve.
He was a brown belt or a black belt under Mike O'Donnell. I know he had a gym down there for a long time. It's a college town. There's quite a bit going on. I'd say there's some good gyms in the area.
Yeah, I know they have places to train. Sean's absolutely ripped, dude. Looks like he's in pretty good shape. I think he's coming in. I think he's 0-2 or 0-3, but he's not bad. Which reminds me of another guy in this card. I'll go over here in a minute. But yeah, so Benny Yokers coming back. Sean Martin should be a good one. Let's see. And we've already talked about Preston Dyer a little bit, and he's up against Hunter Dennis. And we saw Hunter Dennis against Walker Keaton Jones. Sorry, Walker Keaton. Oh, that's a different guy. Keaton Jones.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, they had fight of the night at the first Lexington show we had. But Hunter is probably more of a boxer. I know he trains everything. I don't know how good his ground game is, but His boxing's really good. He's 1-0. His boxing win is over James Blankenship, who was like 6-0 at the time.
Which is bananas to me. Like, it's unbelievable
against a guy like that and winning.
And you talked to Hunter though. Like I talked to him before that fight. You know, I knew who he was because he beat Blankenship. I knew he was going to be fun to watch. And he said, you know, really, he's like, I love MMA. He's like, I don't want to be a boxer. I want to be an MMA fighter, and like obsessed with it. So I think that he probably learned a few tools he needs to put in his tool bag for this next one. Even though he had fight of the night and a great performance, I think dealing with the kicks of Keaton was what really lost him that fight. And Keaton's a karate guy and a good one.
When you're coming straight forward, I mean, if you're not working angles, if you're just coming in a straight line, I mean, those karate guys are going to pick you apart. So, and that was the difference. It was a really close fight, but the kicks was the difference.
And I think now he knows. Now it's one of those first fights where it's really eye opening. You know, you get to learn a lot about yourself too, because it's not a fight you got to be ashamed of. He fought a hell of a fight. He rocked the guy a few times, had him bloodied up. Fight of the night. So I'm excited to see Dennis back in there and up against a guy who's tough. I think Preston's going to be tough. We've not seen him yet, but I just have a feeling about the guy. He wanted to fight me, so I got to respect him.
Yeah, it's a fight that can go either way. And
but I tell you what, everybody can fight me. Let's face it, I'm the most called out man. I used to be the most called out man in West Virginia. It makes you feel special though. Makes you feel sad too, because you know everybody thinks you suck. You're like, God damn, everybody wants to. I want nobody to want to fight me.
I got called out last night by some boxer in California.
They saw your fight with Myers, like, yes, you're the one. That's the one.
They're wanting me to fly him out here and fight on my card against me. I'm like, no, like I'm done. Man.
That's the thing. After I fought CJ Matthews, I had a dude from Kansas reach out to me. Hey, do you want to fight pro? You want to fight me at pro? I was like, no. Like, why? And I look at his footage and he's like knocking everybody dead. I'm like, no, thank you.
No, I'm good.
I think I'll stay home.
Yeah. It's been 2 years since I fought. And out of nowhere, a 2-0 boxer from California, his manager contacts me, wanting me to and like talking about send me the contract, send me the contract. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, we have any what fight are you talking? He's like, me and his guy. Like, no, he said, you're a matchmaker and a fighter, right? I'm like, I'm a promoter, man. Like, come on, what are you trying to do? He's wanting me to fly his guy from California and like, dude, I don't even know who you guys are.
Was he wanting you to pay him too?
Yeah, he wanted me to pay him, cover his flight, hotel, give him travel money to fight me.
I'm assuming this dude's a killer too.
He didn't look like it, no.
That's probably desperate. They're like, hey, will you please pay to bring him out here? For God's sakes.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, like, I'm trying to match fights up, but I'm nowhere on this matchmaking list. I don't know why you're out here trying to get a fight with me.
I'll tell you what. Honestly, you want to talk about boxing, some real stuff about boxing for a minute. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to see these guys who are B-sides. I won't mention any names, but they literally will travel around and get beat up for money. And like, it worries me. Like, it's not only does it ruin the sport, the integrity of the sport, I worry about what's going to happen to these dudes in 10 years, 20 years. What kind of shape are they going to be in? We've seen it. Like you say, they're going to be shaking. They're going to slurring their words. Like, boxing's dirty business. That's why I'm not surprised at all to hear somebody from California is like, hey, you want to fight my guy? That's the game. And it's nasty.
Yeah. So out of nowhere, I'm trying to match up fights, and then they're trying to fight me. Like, no, I'm good. I haven't trained since 2008.
I'll tell you, I won't mention a name, but I'll just say our fighter from Alaska, our friend from Alaska. I worry about that kid because I see him going around fighting all the time.
He fights every week. If he's not fighting in California or Ohio or Florida, he's fighting in Alaska every week. So if he's winning his fights in Alaska,
which those are, I would assume
they're not even pro fights. They're not on his record.
Yeah. they're like street beefs or something.
Yeah.
They're like gloves up, guns down. But then this guy who's an easy to manipulate, it seems like, and he's bright-eyed kid. You got promoters flying him out to get beat up, and he's gotten knocked out spectacularly by some of them. I've seen it, and it makes me sick, because I like that kid. He seemed like a good guy.
I would like to get him more fights here. Man, a flight from Alaska is expensive.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you're an honest promoter. You don't do that to people. You don't try to get people hurt. And like, you can't really control it, but you see a kid like that, and like, it'd be nice to have him fight for us, so at least he's not getting his head knocked in, because he loves it. He loves the sport. He's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, he loves to fight.
He's talking to Bare Knuckle FC right now, trying to get a fight with them, and like, I worry about the kid. Like, that's the dark side of the sport that nobody really talks about, but that's how it works. Like, I don't know if I'm even supposed to be talking about it, but you got an A side and a B side, and a lot of times people pay for their opponents. Like, it's very strange what boxing has become.
Well, I've got like 10 minutes before I got to leave for this game, so we got to get through these last 3 fights.
All right, well, speed round. This is the speed round.
I got to going to watch the UK Wildcats play the Georgia Bulldogs in college basketball. So.
That'll be a fun one. How have you been liking going to those UK games? Let's take a little aside there.
Man, well, it's really hard to get season tickets for UK basketball. Like, really hard. You got to enter a lottery. If you win the lottery, you're eligible to buy tickets. So, won the lottery, and then had to spend the money to buy the season tickets, which was a lot of money. But I'm 1 row from the top. I'm all the way, literally. You got right behind me. You got 1 more row, and then the wall, and then the ceiling. I'm looking. I have to look down to see the banners hanging in the arena that you see hanging at the top. I'm above the banners. And the basketball players look like ants. So sometimes you end up watching the TV. But it's cool.
Altitude sickness up there.
I'll tell you what, I about have a heart attack just walking to my seat. I sit down. Oh. Yeah. Then you got to go pee at halftime. Oh, God, got to make this trek again.
I've never been to a UK game, but being from Kentucky, like, UK basketball's everything. Everybody's obsessed. Yeah. Like, I couldn't imagine the atmosphere of one of those games.
It's pretty cool, man, especially in a big game. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the Gonzaga game.
Have you been to a UK-Florida game yet?
No.
That's the big rivalry. Those are the ones. I bet that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Florida played there in football, but we were on our vacation, and so I just sold my tickets. So I missed that one.
You tried to cancel the vacation, didn't you? You were like, "No, Rebecca, I'm not going."
She wasn't having it. No, I was trying to go to the game and get to the airport after, but she was like, "It's too risky. Might miss our flight." So, all right.
Your flight, they probably had a better time.
They would have. These last 3 fights here. All right, so Nick Lyons, who has won a couple matches recently. He won a grappling match.
Machine, Nick Lyons.
And then he won an MMA fight a week ago, so got his first MMA win. Now he's got a kickboxing match. He's up against Trailer Park, baby. James Q, a.k.a. Trailer Park. He's a really popular guy. Fights in Rough and Rowdy, Redneck Brawl, that stuff. He's a very entertaining fighter. A little wild. He's tough. Gets a little wild in there. Should be a pretty good fight with him and Nick. I mean, both guys are tough, and I don't expect this to be super technical, but they're gonna get in there banging, man.
That's the thing about Nick. He always comes to fight, despite the holes in his game. Like, we've seen flashes of greatness. That guillotine he landed on Cameron was slick. The way he finished it was perfect. It was an arm in guillotine, and that's a tough one to finish right. Most people do it wrong. He did it perfect. I was really impressed.
Knocked himself out on the slam. He landed on his head, and then I believe he was concussed because he didn't really know what. Amazing. He didn't really know what was going on the rest of that night.
That would have been amazing. To get Gavin's appearance on the podcast.
Yeah. Gavin was on the podcast finally. 2 more. 2 more fights. All right, so we got Travis Abner. He's a former high school wrestler. It's probably been 10 years. I can't remember how old he is. He's been out of high school for a little bit, but he wrestled through high school. He trains with Brandon Conley and those guys in Portsmouth. Dude looks like he's strong as hell and got a wrestling background. Fighting MMA fight. We're going to do a catch weight at 180 pounds with William Armstead. And Will is 0-3, but he's better than that record shows. He was doing pretty good there in November. Dropped his opponent in the first round. Probably should have capitalized on it, but he gassed out. The other guy came back and beat him. But he's 0-3, but he's probably the best 0-3 fighter I've seen. I don't know if you remember Will. He fought Fowler's guy up there at Bridgeport.
I do actually. I do remember him. He's scrappy.
So, yeah. So this would be an interesting fight. I'm not sure how much of a wrestling background Will has, and but he looks like he's pretty tough on his feet. And then so I'm hoping Travis. I don't know. Travis may surprise us on his feet since he's with Brandon and those guys. So he may have some boxing, even though he's never boxed. He may have some.
If he's
some
training
skills.
with Brandon Conley, then he's gonna I'm telling you, Brandon Conley's boxing really impressed me.
Yeah,
I loved that style. I loved his cross guard style. It was really nice.
Yeah,
he looked like George Foreman.
This should be a pretty good fight. And then one more fight on the card, and this is going to be the first fight of the night, even though it really probably should have been further down the card. Eric Mon works for us, so he wants to get his fight out of the way so he can get out there and help us run the card. So we got Eric Mon versus Tyrone Kenshin in a kickboxing match. 107 pounds.
This one I'm very excited about. Tyrone Kenshin comeback. We saw that at that last card, and it was a tough fight for him. He got rocked at one point in that fight. He fought
Joey Weaver.
Yeah, Joey Weaver came to fight that night. Even though he was wild, even though he was a little crazy, he hit hard. And I saw at one point in that fight, Tyrone got hurt. He had to dig deep.
Joey's tough, man. And Joey's always coming forward.
Joey had a crazy style, too.
Yeah.
His style was insane. He looked like a crazy man.
I don't know. I don't know how.
What did Butch Hiles? Butch Hiles said something in that commentary.
I don't remember. We called him a zombie or something. I don't know.
He no, I think he said he looks like somebody you'd fight outside the gas station.
Yeah. I don't think the guys at the gas station are as tough as Joey.
I think he's the toughest guy at the gas station. I think that's his
guarantee
nickname.
it. That would be it. The toughest guy at the gas station, Joey Weaver.
Toughest guy once.
The toughest 170-pound gas station fighter ever.
That's what we need to do. We need to have sheets, just pop up at different sheets and have parking lot fights.
You think you may be onto something? We will rival
Chris Smith. I'm going to
rival. We'll rival Street Beefs and take over gas station
bum fights. That's what we need. Yeah, we need bum fights at New Line.
We'll just tell people to be in a certain city, and we'll let them know 5 minutes before the fight starts.
No, you got to just pick people that are there. You go to any find several people that are down to scrap. You just go to
$100.
You guys fight for it.
Yeah. MMA rules.
We got to get out of West Virginia. You know that the commission will be on us.
Yeah.
We got to go to Mexico to do this.
This is our card right now. We have 14. This is 14 fights on the card currently. We're probably going to end up with maybe 16, 18.
I trailed off and we didn't talk about Eric Mon. I feel bad because he's our buddy, and it's Tyrone Kenshin looked awesome last fight. Let's move on.
I mean, Eric looked good. Eric's coming into this to be his second kickboxing match. He fought Colin Caprini. That was a really good fight. Eric landed a body kick, head kick kind of combo. I think Colin was going down from the body kick, but Eric
the spinning back kick. I talked to Colin about it. He said the spinning back kick's what hurt him, and you could tell that body shot he was on his way down. Yeah. Then he got caught with a head kick as well, didn't he?
Yeah. And then I think Eric started celebrating because he thought the fight was over.
Eric, he's done that twice now.
No, he's done it 3 times now. He did it at Tough Man too.
Oh man,
he's over there shaking the ropes, and the referee's over here counting.
He's coming off a really dominant performance at Tough Man too, didn't he? Just win that jacket?
No, he won the first night, but he injured his shoulder and didn't come back.
Pussy.
Pussy. I told him, I was like, bro, just go down to Dollar General, get some badges. Yeah, I went down to. I was there to watch Eric, man, and he just couldn't do it. I tried to.
It's Eric Mon, not Eric Mann. I was down there to watch.
Hey, I gave him a nickname, and he just refuses to use it. Come to Jamaica and have a good time. Eric, Mon. Come to Jamaica and have a good time, Mon. And he will not use that name.
He should just do Jamaica. Eric Jamaica Mon.
Oh, I like it. I like that. But well, that's all the time I got. I got to hit the road. Got to get to this basketball game.
The podcast is back. Correct.
We're back.
We're back.
We're gonna
your life. We're gonna come into you.
On your face. Thanks, everybody.
You were supposed to be subtle with it.